Key 1. If it is the Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom, why don't I have it? Let us begin with a reality check. Let us look at the statement, "It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Although you may have heard that statement many times before, have you really spent the time and the attention to consider what it truly means? If you look at this statement, you will see that there really is only one meaning. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, and this must mean that God really wants you to have His kingdom. God really wants you to have the abundant life. It is His good pleasure to give it to you. So if you look at your life and see that you do not have abundance, you must reason that something has gone wrong. Something is preventing you from having the abundant life that God wants you to have. And now we can begin to reason together and consider what could possibly have prevented you from having the abundant life, if it truly is God's desire and God's will that you should have that abundance. What could possibly have gone wrong? What could possibly prevent you from having what God wants you to have? What could possibly prevent God's will from being a manifest reality on this planet? Let us now take a look at planet Earth. There is great beauty in nature on this planet. Your scientists are continually discovering how intricate, how complex, and yet how wondrous this world is designed. There are so many interwoven and complex systems on Earth that even the most materialistic scientists cannot help but once in a while feel a sense of wonder and awe over the intricacy, the beauty, and the symmetry they discover in nature. And if you are a spiritually inclined person, you will tend to agree with me when I say that this intricacy must have been designed by a mind that is very capable and that has great imagination and reasoning ability. So what you see in nature is that God truly has designed a very beautiful and wondrous creation, a creation that has great abundance. Yet when you look at the area of human affairs, you see a different picture. Even though the human body is the most complex of all God's creations, human beings seem to have trouble figuring out how to use their bodies without destroying themselves, without destroying others, or without destroying nature. And whereas you often see abundance and balance in nature, you do not see the same abundance or the same balance in human affairs. Think about the words of Jesus when He said that you are of greater value than the sparrows, meaning that if God is capable of clothing and feeding the birds, He is surely capable of giving you everything you need. Yet there are many people on earth who look at the birds with envy, because the birds are free to fly wherever they like, and they always seem to find food just for the taking. In contrast, many people are trapped by various circumstances and can hardly move. They must struggle their entire lives just to make a living and feed themselves and their children. Therefore, many people long for the carefree life of the birds and feel that in contrast, their lives are one long struggle. Yet when you look at the beauty and the abundance that God has built into nature, does it seem logical to you that God would not be able to design a planet that can sustain human life with the same abundance and carefreeness that you see in the life of birds? Is there really any reason why God should not be able to design a planet that can give you the same freedom and the same carefree living as you see in the life of the many creatures that have far less intelligence and, as Jesus said, far less value than yourself? You have only limited options when you start reasoning this through in a logical manner. You cannot deny the reality that human beings do not have the abundant life. And when you consider the concept that it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, you must say that if God wants human beings to have the abundant life, then something must have gone wrong, either on God's end or on your end. One option is to reason that apparently God was able to create a wonderful and intricate planet that is able to sustain a carefree and abundant life for the birds and other creatures with less intelligence than humans. Yet when it came to humans, God somehow was not able to engineer this planet so that it could sustain your life in the same abundance and freedom from care, lack, or suffering. So you can reason that God's ability to design must somehow be flawed, and when it came to human beings, he made a mistake. There are indeed many people who have reasoned this way. Some of them are religious people, and having been brought up to fear going to hell if they blaspheme God, they quickly push such thoughts aside. Others are willing to acknowledge the thoughts, and some have even used them as a reason to reject all religion or reject the concept of God. If you are inclined to think this way, I ask only one thing of you. The next time there is a clear night where you live, please go outside and look up into the night sky. Look up into the Milky Way and contemplate how many stars there are. You don't need to look up in a scientific book that tells you how many billions of stars scientists have calculated to be in existence. You just need to look with your eyes and see that there are more stars than you can count, and then ask yourself, if God was able to create a universe of such incredible vastness and complexity, does it seem logical that on this small planet that we call Earth, God was not able to provide an abundant and carefree life for the highest life form on this planet? My beloved heart, if you will contemplate this, I think you will realize the absolute truth that God is fully capable of designing planet Earth in such a way that every human being on this planet can enjoy an abundant and carefree life with the same freedom as that enjoyed by the birds.